Yes, our world is scarred. Yes, we have failed. But you know what? We're still here. And as long as we breathe, as long as one heart still beats for this planet, we can rise from the ashes and build again. You wouldn't stay asleep if your house was on fire. You'd hear the crackling of the flames, the smoke filling your lungs, the heat crawling up the walls, and you'd run, you'd shout, grab your family, your neighbors, your pets. You'd do anything to save what you love. So why are we still sleeping? Because that's what's happening right now. Our home, this planet, is burning. Not in some distant, invisible way. It's happening in our cities, our forests, our oceans. It's the heat wave that scorched your summer, the flood that took someone's home, the storm that destroyed an entire coastline. It's happening in real time, and we're still pretending it's fine. We scroll past the headlines. We shake our heads for a second, maybe share a post, then go back to our routines. But the world doesn't pause just because we do. The ice doesn't stop melting because we have dinner plans. The fires don't wait for our comfort. The planet doesn't care about our excuses. We are living in a burning house, and yet we argue about whether the fire is real. We wait for someone else to come with water, someone else to take responsibility, someone else to fix it. But no one is coming. There is no firefighter waiting at the end of the street. There is only us standing in the smoke, pretending it's not as bad as it looks. And I know it's hard to face. It's easier to stay numb, to believe someone else will handle it. We've been told that things aren't that bad, that technology will save us, that we still have time. But that's the lie that keeps us asleep. Because every day we wait, the fire spreads. Every degree hotter, every glacier gone, every forest cut down, that's time we'll never get back. And yes, it's terrifying. Because once you admit the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't just go back to sleep. You can't pretend the air isn't thicker, the seasons aren't changing, the animals aren't disappearing. You feel it in your bones, this quiet panic that something sacred is slipping away. But fear isn't the enemy denial is. Fear means you still care. It means you still have something to lose. It means there's still hope. Because people who feel nothing don't fight for anything. And right now, we need fighters. We need people who can look at the flames and say, not today, not my home, not my future. Because this isn't about politics or profit or convenience. It's about survival. It's about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food that grows from the ground beneath your feet. It's about the children who will inherit this world and what we choose to leave them. You can't say you love your family, your country, your future, and then look away. Love demands action. Real love protects, it sacrifices, it shows up. So if you love this planet, if you love anything, you have to wake up. You have to rise from your comfort and face the fire with open eyes. Because once we see the truth, once we really see it, something changes inside us. We begin to understand that we're not powerless. That every choice, every voice, every act of courage, it all adds up. The world changes when ordinary people stop pretending and start caring. It starts small, turning off a light, speaking up when silence is easier, demanding better from leaders, companies, and ourselves, choosing responsibility over convenience. It's not about being perfect, it's about refusing to stay asleep while everything burns. And yes, one person can make a difference, because movements don't begin with everyone, they begin with someone. Someone who stands up and says, enough. Someone who breaks the silence, who dares to be uncomfortable, who refuses to wait for permission. Change starts the moment you decide to stop pretending you don't see the smoke. So, here's the truth. Our house is on fire. The alarms are blaring. The walls are cracking. The time for comfort is over. But it's not too late. Not yet. We can still choose to act. We can still fight for the world that raised us, for the rivers and trees and skies that gave us everything. Wake up, get up. Do something, anything. Because the world doesn't need more dreamers asleep in burning rooms. It needs the awake, the brave, the hopeful, those who refuse to give up even when the air is thick and the flames are close. You are not helpless. You are alive in the most urgent moment of human history. And what you do next, what we do next, will decide if the house we call home still stands for those who come after us. So don't go back to sleep. Not now. Not when there's still a chance to save everything we love. Wake up, our house is burning. And this time, we fight the fire together. You wouldn't stay asleep if your house was on fire. You wouldn't roll over and hit the snooze button while the walls turn to ash around you. You'd run, you'd scream, you'd do whatever it takes to save the people and the things you love. And yet, here we are, living inside a burning home, pretending everything's fine. The air is getting hotter. The forests that once breathed for us are turning to dust. The oceans, our planet's heartbeat, are choking on plastic and heat. We've changed the color of the sky, the rhythm of the seasons, and still we act like it's all normal. We are the first generation to truly feel the flames and the last that can still put them out. You see it, you feel it. The summers that used to feel endless now feel unbearable. The floods, the fires, the storms, they're no longer headlines from faraway places. They're here, they're now, they're everywhere. But we've been trained to look away, to tell ourselves it's not our problem, or not our fault, that someone else, a government, a corporation, a billionaire with a shiny new technology will come and fix it. But no one is coming. There is no superhero waiting off stage. It's just us, standing in the smoke, arguing about whether the fire is even real. We have forgotten how to feel. We measure everything in profit and productivity, while the world that gave us life is collapsing. We call it progress when the air becomes poison. We call it success when children grow up afraid of the weather. And we call it normal when people lose their homes to storms that didn't exist a few decades ago. We can't afford this kind of normal anymore. When I say our house is burning, I mean it. The fire is not metaphorical, it's physical, it's visible, and it's deadly. It's in the Amazon, in Australia, in California, in Greece. It's in every part of the world where the balance of life has tipped too far. And yet, somehow, we're still half asleep, lulled by comfort, distracted by convenience, silenced by fear. We think we can't change anything. We think we're too small. But that's exactly what they want you to believe. Because the moment you wake up, the moment you realize your power, everything changes. The truth is, the fire didn't start on its own. It was built, brick by brick, by greed and ignorance, by leaders who looked the other way, by companies that put profit before people, by decades of silence when we needed screams. But blaming won't save us, because while they started it, we're the ones who have to stop it. Every one of us, every decision, every voice, every choice we make adds fuel or takes it away. Yes, it's hard, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, but change always is. No one saves the world by being comfortable. No one puts out a fire by standing still. Wake up, look around, feel the heat. Listen to the earth, it's begging us to act. The rivers are drying, the animals are vanishing. The ice is melting faster than anyone predicted. And still, we waste precious time debating if it's worth the effort. It is worth it, because this isn't just about the planet, it's about us. It's about love. The love we say we have for our families, for our homes, for the people we'll never meet, but whose futures depend on what we do right now. If your child was trapped in a burning house, you wouldn't wait for someone else to rescue them. You would run in without hesitation, without question. That's the kind of courage we need, not tomorrow, not next year, but today. And I know what you're thinking. I'm just one person. What difference can I make? But that's exactly how fires are fought, one bucket of water at a time. One act of courage sparks another and another until suddenly the flames begin to fade. You don't need to be a scientist or a politician to make change. You just need to care, to refuse to stay silent, to stand up in your home, your school, your city, and say, I will not sleep through this. Because if we don't wake up now, we may never have the chance again. The window is closing fast. And one day, when the smoke has settled and the world is quieter, someone will ask what we did when everything was burning. What will you say? That you watched? That you waited? That you were too busy? Or will you say you stood up? That you refused to let apathy win? That you love this earth enough to fight for it, no matter how hard it was? The truth is simple. The fire is real. The danger is here. The time is now. And if we dare to open our eyes, if we dare to wake up, if we dare to care, then maybe, just maybe, we can still save the only home we've ever had. So please, don't go back to sleep. Not when the flames are at our feet. Not when the world still has a heartbeat. Wake up. Our house is burning. And it's time we started fighting for it. Like our lives depend on it. Because they do. When everything feels like it's falling apart, it's easy to believe that hope is gone. That the damage is too deep. That we've already lost too much. That there's no way back. But let me tell you something. The story of humanity has never been one of giving up. It's been one of rising again and again from the ashes of our own mistakes. Yes, our house is on fire. Yes, the world feels broken. But broken things can be rebuilt stronger, wiser, more beautiful than before. The truth is, hope isn't something that just appears when things get better. Hope is what makes things better. Hope is the act of believing even when everything around you says you shouldn't. When the forests burn, life still finds a way. Green shoots push through black soil. Seeds that only open after fire begin to bloom. Nature doesn't give up, it renews itself. It adapts, it fights, it survives. And if the earth can keep fighting, then so can we. Because hope isn't a feeling, it's a choice. It's waking up each day and saying, I will not let this be the end. It's looking at the ruins and seeing a foundation, not a failure. It's refusing to believe that destruction has the final word. We have the power to rebuild, to reimagine, to create a world that doesn't just survive but thrives. A world that values life more than profit. Community more than consumption. The planet more than our comfort. And make no mistake, that world is possible. We've seen it in the eyes of children marching for their future. In the hands of people planting trees in dry, cracked soil. In the voices of millions demanding justice for the air, the oceans, the forests. That is what hope looks like, not quiet optimism, but loud, fearless action. You might think, it's too late. The damage is done. But it's never too late to do the right thing. Never too late to turn pain into purpose. Never too late to fight for something you love. The future isn't written yet, and every choice we make, every voice that speaks up, every heart that refuses to give in, helps write a different ending. The world doesn't need more cynicism. It doesn't need more silence. It needs faith, not blind faith, but fierce, active faith. The kind that moves mountains, rebuilds cities, restores forests, heals hearts. And that starts with you. You might feel small. You might think your voice doesn't matter. But imagine if everyone who felt that way decided to act anyway. Imagine if every spark of courage became a flame. Together, we could light up the whole world. Because we've seen it before, the power of people who refuse to give up. When humanity unites, impossible things happen. Rivers are cleaned, laws are changed, wars end, rights are won. Entire nations rise from ashes, not because it was easy, but because people dared to believe they could. We are those people now. This is our generation's test, not of strength, but of spirit. Will we let despair define us, or will we choose to rebuild? Will we stand on the ashes and mourn what was lost, or will we use them to plant the seeds of what can still be? I believe we can. I believe in the hands that build, in the hearts that care, in the voices that refuse to be silenced. I believe that out of this crisis, we can create something extraordinary, not just a cleaner world, but a kinder one. Because when you fight for the earth, you're not just fighting for survival, you're fighting for love, for connection, for everything that makes life worth living. You're fighting for the songs of birds in the morning, for the smell of rain on the soil, for the laughter of children who deserve to grow up under a safe sky. And if that isn't worth fighting for, what is? So let's rise not in anger, but in hope. Let's rebuild the bridges we burned, replant the forests we cut, relearn the respect we lost. Let's remember that we are part of this planet, not its owners. And if we can destroy it by pretending everything's fine, imagine what we can create when we finally care. This is our moment to transform fear into courage, guilt into action, despair into hope. Because hope is not weak. Hope is not naive. Hope is the most powerful rebellion there is. It says, I see the darkness and I choose to light a candle anyway. And when millions of us light that candle together, the night doesn't stand a chance. So yes, our world has been scarred. Yes, the road ahead is hard, but don't ever forget, fire doesn't just destroy. It also purifies. It makes room for new beginnings. And from the ashes, we can build again, cleaner, fairer, wiser, stronger. So stand up, take a breath, look around. This is your home, our home, the only one we'll ever have. And no matter how dark it seems, never stop believing that from these ashes we will rise together.